I feel bad for the brown people who thought they were better than black people, who are now facing deportation. I feel bad for the white women who didn't realize they were the real DEI hires and were gonna lose their job. I feel bad for Columbia and Emory and Johns Hopkins losing $300, $400, and $800 million, but HBCUs ain't never had that kind of money. I feel bad for the Tesla dealerships that gotta close because they lost $900 billion since December because they forgot it ain't electricity, it's people that power this nation. I feel bad for them. A little bit, until I remember the words of that black sister with cornrows. Until you do right by me, nothing you do is gonna work. I tried to feel bad. I feel bad for those who persecute you for righteousness' sake, for they don't know that the kingdom of heaven is about to be yours. Today, I'm telling you, feel bad for your enemies because he's about to prepare a table in the presence of your enemies. Elon Musk, the richest man in the world, the uncertified co-president of the United States, recently said on the Rogan podcast that the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. Did you hear what the richest man in the world said? He said the fundamental weakness of Western civilization is empathy. The inability to feel for others is at the root of what you are seeing take place in America right now. They don't have any feelings for the 5.8 million blacks that are getting ready to be purged off of Medicare. They don't care, have no feeling for the 64% of those who are on Medicaid that are black because the wealthy have private doctors. They don't care about immigrants being criminalized because as a white South African, he has a white privilege while melanated Africans can't get a visa. Don't tell me you feel me if you gotta put on gloves to touch me. Psychology Today recently published an article by Dr. Douglas Lieber that has boldly pronounced that America has a newly classified disease. And the new classified disease is empathy deficit disorder. Empathy deficit disorder. It's what happens when you are unable to step outside of yourself in order to step into somebody else's experience. Empathy is different from sympathy, because sympathy is understanding somebody's pain, whereas empathy is identifying with somebody else's pain. I used to tell young preachers, when you go comfort somebody whose mother has just died.
Oftentimes when black people try help other group of people who indeed should, and if they knew, and I know that I knew, they should stand with black folks, they have always betrayed black people. They have always given black people a reason for not empathizing and sympathizing with them, right? Because the only time when you look at human history, when you look at American history, it is at that time when black people walk out, all of them, just to fight for civil rights movement, to fight for affirmative action, to fight for education for the marginalized group, and to fight for equal pay, and all these benefited other group of people except black people. And there was only one time when other folks thought, and black people thought, that they learned from their experiences, but it seems like they didn't learn, because what they went ahead and did was the opposite of what they should have done. And you understand that this is the betrayal that black people are facing. And the people that thought that they're making the right decision, I'll say this: to a white person, you can never be white enough. You can never be great. You can never be that whole to them. While you try to escape something related to being black, you go to the other counterpart, white folks, and join hands with them, thinking that when you dine with the devil, you'll receive all the benefits. But at the end of the day, you're still just the other person. You're not white according to them, right? So this includes Latinos, this includes Asians, all these people that think that when they get close to whiteness, they are going to get help or their life will change abruptly. They'll not be they'll not be neighboring black people. I think this is the last time you're learning the hard time. You're learning the hard way. Maybe next time you'll make the right decision. I don't want to say much. I want us to watch this video. I'll be back and I'll be giving my commentary as usual. As I usually say, a black person doesn't have a friend. Black people doesn't have a friend. Any alliance you'll ever see is that they'll always want something from you. And this is what they did to other group of people, especially marginalized group of people. This is what they did to them. So it's always about think twice when the deal is good. And that's how they lied to Asians, to Latinos, and all these other groups. So let's watch the video. I'll be back with my commentary as usual. Oftentimes when black people try help other group of people who indeed should, and if they knew, and I know that I knew, they should stand with black folks, they have always betrayed black people. They have always given black people a reason for not empathizing and sympathizing with them, right? Because the only time when you look at human history, when you look at American history, it is at that time when black people walk out, all of them, just to fight for civil rights movement, to fight for affirmative action, to fight for education for the marginalized group, and to fight for equal pay. And all these benefited other group of people, except black people. And there was only one time when other folks thought, and black people thought that they learned from their experiences, but it seems like they didn't learn. Because what they went ahead and did was the opposite of what they should have done. And you understand that this is the betrayal that black people are facing. And the people that thought that they're making the right decision, I'll say this: to a white person, you can never be white enough. You can never be great. You can never be that whole to them. While you try to escape something related to being black, you go to the other counterpart, white folks, and join hands with them, thinking that when you dine with the devil, you'll receive all the benefits. But at the end of the day, you're still just the other person. You're not white according to them, right? So this includes Latinos, this includes Asians, all these people that think that when they get close to whiteness, they are going to get help or their life will change abruptly. They'll not be they'll not be neighboring black people. I think this is the last time you're learning the hard time. You're learning the hard way. Maybe next time you'll make the right decision. I don't want to say much. I want us to watch this video. I'll be back and I'll be giving my commentary as usual. As I usually say, a black person doesn't have a friend. Black people doesn't have a friend. Any alliance you'll ever see is that they'll always want something from you. And this is what they did to other group of people, especially marginalized group of people. This is what they did to them. So it's always about think twice when the deal is good. And that's how they lied to Asians, to Latinos, and all these other groups. So let's watch the video. I'll be back with my commentary as usual.
Don't tell them you know how they feel when your mama's still alive. I am not asking you to feel sorry for me. I'm asking you to get in the foxhole with me. You got to be able to feel what I feel. And if you can't feel what it is that I feel, then you will stand in the jury box and not the witness stand. If you don't understand what it feels like to be black in America, don't you pass judgment. You got to know what it feels like for my heart rate to accelerate anytime I see police pull up behind me. You got to know what it feels like to be vulnerable as a woman, to walk through a parking lot by yourself and you hear footsteps coming up behind you. You got to know what it feels like to not get your prayers answered but still have a prayer life. You got to know what it feels years of having inequitable education opportunities. 300 years of medical apartheid. Now Target, Walmart, McDonald's, John Deere, Amazon feel like this is gonna break us. This is not our first rodeo. But the thing that they can't understand is after everything that we've been through, we still got our hope, still got our joy, still got our peace, and we still got our relationship with God. Come on, I can't hear anybody. Do you understand the mental torture you've been through in the last 45 days? Mental torture you've been through. That now segregation is legal again. The emotional torture you've been through. That every police officer's record has been cleaned. The torture that you've been through. That now teachers got to second guess, can they teach their own history to students that look like them without losing their funding? Can you imagine the torture that you've been through just in the last 45 days? That many of you, your children will no longer receive free lunch beginning in August. The torture that you've been through. That there is absolutely no sympathy or grace for veterans or for seniors. The torture that you've been through. But be not dismayed. Whatever the tide, God will. He'll take care of you. When you've been picked on, harassed, and bullied for so long, you begin to feel helpless. James Weldon Johnson said, God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, the one who's brought us thus far along the way. 300 years of degradation. 300 years of being marginalized and ostracized. 300 years of being castrated and lynched. Was utilizing the idea of moral imagination. Moral imagination is the ability to anticipate or project yourself in the middle of a moral dilemma. Not even having reached adolescence, she figured that segregation.
Well, hey guys, happy Wednesday. You know, I was watching something the other night, and it was Elon Musk, and he had the audacity to, I guess he was trying to generate some sympathy, empathy, which he called weakness. But he had the audacity, or shall I say the caucasity, to say that in the most pitiful, wimpy looking way, that he hasn't done any wrong to anyone. And he can't understand the resentment because he hasn't done anything bad to anyone. Let me ask you guys this. Who cut the VA benefits? Who cut the federal jobs that the vets were working, sending them letters saying that they were, it was their low performance rating, that they were letting them go? Who fired the therapists for the VAs with mental issues? Who fired those therapists and left these vets out here to fend for themselves? Who canceled all the contracts a $43 billion contract, that government contract that benefited disabled vets. That was Elon Musk. Who canceled the U.S. aid? Again, Elon Musk. Who canceled agencies in U.S. aid that had investigations on Elon Musk and Tesla? Who did that? For all this pity party seeking, empathy trying to generate performance that you're putting on, we all know who did what and what harmed whom. What you want to do is, instead of trying to spend your time gaslighting the American people, you may want to start rethinking some of the things you're doing, because you're causing some really serious crises. And it's a lot of serious mental crises that are going on. I've seen several vets making videos in some really, shall I say, distraught type of emotions. Can I say unhinged? Can I say completely crashing out? And they're saying that they have lost their lifeline, that they have no hope, and that the treatments they were getting was the only thing that was in some kind of way allowing them to re-enter into society. One man said it was the only thing that was keeping him from killing people. That was a vet. That the aid they took from him, that his therapist they fired, and the meds that he was being given through the therapist was the only thing that was keeping him from killing people. And you took that away from him. But you haven't done any harm. You haven't done anything bad to anyone. Can we say you have a real problem of self-reflection? You have a real issue trying to identify with yourself. How is it you don't see these things that you have generated, that you have ushered in, as harmful to people? How is it? What type of mindset do you have that you can't even comprehend taking away a person's benefits, taking away their health benefits, taking away their finances, taking away their livelihoods, taking away their jobs? It's not harmful. But you want to get up here and cry and weep and moan because your stock has dropped, because your car sales are in the toilet. And then you want to create monsters out of the people who you're tagging on the left. Of course, it's going to always be the left. But you're trying to create monsters out of the people that are just actively, peacefully protesting you. But we're the monsters. And you're the designated angel that's being crucified down here by us horrible human beings, right? Well. Keep feeding yourself and gaslighting yourself, because that's the only person it's working on. And we know it's working on MAGA. We don't include them. They don't count as far as we're concerned. We know you already have their minds twisted around your little finger. But the people you don't have twisted around your little finger, we see through. We see through everything you're doing. We see you. We see you. And the people that's seeing you, they're going to know exactly who to blame for their problems, for their losing their livelihoods, for their losing their mental stability, for their losing all their benefits. Yeah. They're going to know. So you can cut the gaslighting. It's not working. What you may want to do is you may want to start rethinking some of these things you're taking away before someone retaliates in a way that may not be, let's say, beneficial for you. That's all I had to say about that. But you guys have a great day, and I will be talking to you soon. And before I get out of here, I have one last question to ask, and it's just one question I just want to ask. Is it great again yet? Just asking for a friend.
White poverty in America was designed to be a temporary system because social mobility was and still is exclusively reserved to white people on the premise of Anglo-Saxonism, under the guise of economic opportunism, and under the condition of minimal effort. Black poverty in America was designed to be a permanent system because chattel slavery was designed to be a permanent system. which is why it was written into our Constitution, and it was upheld for about a century. And there was a 4-year civil war fought to try to keep upholding it because it was considered necessary for the U.S. economy. And slavery was never abolished. It's still very much so legal in the prison system, which is why the incarceration rates for Black people are extremely disproportionate, despite us being the minority. The U.S. prison chattel slavery system is doing for the U.S. economy what the government wishes a continuation of overt chattel slavery of all Black people could do for the economy, the way it did for centuries. 400 years of slavery. My ancestors never thought there would be a living free descendant, and neither did the government that enslaved them, because the government never thought slavery wouldn't work. It was designed to be permanent, and when it was abolished in 1865, the government said, okay, we can't overtly enslave anyone, I guess, but we can create systems that disproportionately destabilize and affect Black people to the point at which they naturally fall back into chattel slavery. How does that manifest? Criminalization of houselessness, cutting education funding, not giving us a healthcare system, and then creating an insane debting system that financially enslaves everyone. And they're also trying to cut necessary resources like public library funding. And I don't know if you're aware of what the library does for people. The library is a means to social mobility. And it has been desensationalized as this boring and unhelpful place, but it provides job training, educational resources, prison services, food, all for free, and even more for free. That's where our tax dollars also go, is to the library. And while people think it is not a glamorous place, the government tries to cut funding while we're either not looking or while we believe it's not a necessary resource. And really, that is one of the surviving resources for social mobility for Black, brown, and white people who are experiencing poverty. And I say all that to say, the end goal with the United States was global domination. The United States was designed to either do complete global domination or complete global annihilation. And if neither of those works, it's designed to self-destruct. A step before self-destruction is an attempt to reinstate chattel slavery. White poverty in America was designed to be a temporary system because social mobility was and still is exclusively reserved.
Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Some people never learn, and they have to learn the hard way. But learning the hard way, I know my Black folks are so remorseful. My Black folks are so caring, are so sympathetic, are so empathetic. And somehow, I don't say that Black people always hate other group of people, but I think it's time for Black folks in general to leave this other group of people to now learn the hardest way. Because for the longest time, it is Black folks that have always tried to stand with people. But what have they gotten in return? They have gotten betrayal. That's how it has always been going. According to them, it's that it's not in their place to stand with Black folks, right? And they have proven this for the longest time. Whenever time Black people try to stand with them, Black people try to save them, we could have a group of them that will go ahead and just betray Black folks. And so, my Black people, also we have to learn the hard way. The only hard way we have to learn is that the only person that a Black person has is his fellow Black person in the United States, right? And I understand we have Black people that don't have the same agenda with other Black people. As they say, not all skin folks are kin folks, right? So also we have people who are Black with different agendas, and that's something which is totally understandable. But different people have their different agendas, they have their different goals, they have their different end games, and they know what they want with what they want. But for majority of Black people who have understood the history of America, and I know that most of them have taken time to get to understand the things that are happening in the United States. So it is time for you to get to understand that you as a Black person, you don't have a friend. Just like Henry Clark said. For the longest time in human history, the person who has received betrayal is a black person. Look at how they did it. Let's start with Africa. Look at how they did it in Africa. They came as visitors, right? And black people were so welcoming. They welcomed them. When black people welcomed them, what did they do? They started taking their land, they started raping their women, and this is all what they did. Because of the welcoming nature of black people across the world, there's something outstanding about black people that it is so, so outstanding. When you talk about humanity, we can't talk about humanity without talking about black folks, right? And so this is what is effing up our black people. And as much as we want to stand with people, they'll always try to betray you. And this is history has proven this for the longest time, right? And now it is time for black folks to learn the hard way. This is the time for black people to unite and get to understand that the only asset that a black person will ever have, especially in the United States, black folks in the United States, whether you're a foundational black American, whether, I don't know how you identify yourself, but you need each other, right? You need each other. And that's how it's supposed to be. Because remember, the people that you think that you are united with, they go ahead and show you that they don't need you. And the people that they stand with also goes ahead and shows that they don't need them, right? So it's a chain of betrayal. It's a chain of betrayal. And for the longest time, if I take an Hispanic community, the Latino community as an example, or the case scenario of what's really happening, majority of Hispanic men, women decided to choose whatever they chose. But before that, black folks warned them that that the decisions that they're making are going to affect everything that is happening. But at that time when it just happened, that's when they get to realize the truth that they are also betrayed. And like right now, they're coming back, trying to explain to black people, oh, we know you are duped and all these things happen. And I feel like it is high time we black folks, especially black people in the United States, get to learn that we are not that much special. So it is high chance to stand with our own people. Why am I saying we are not that special? Because you can also be betrayed, right? You can also be betrayed. And this was a message to Latino, to the Asians, that they are not special. Because to a white person, you can never be special to them. Anything you'll ever see a person do with black people, it will always be transactional. If it doesn't benefit them, they leave it. Trust me. And this is what I've seen throughout the history. Since I started looking up all these things, crazy things that are happening, all the betrayal that ever happened to black people. Right? So it is that time for black folks to understand and to understand keenly. They will only want to unify if it will benefit them. And this is what white people are showing black folks right now. They want something that benefits them. That's why they are reaching out. If it wasn't benefiting them, trust me, they couldn't be out there. A number of things occurred. That's why they're reaching out. That's why they're reaching out, trying to find the truth. But I'll say this openly. Trust me, black folks, we need to learn, we need to understand that anytime you see these people want an alliance with you, I'm not spewing hate or something, but what I'm saying is just the truth. Anytime you're gonna be seeing a white person, a group of white people, they trying to show you that they understand the things that are happening in your community. And now this is the time, right now it makes sense to them that, oh, black folks, you've been through a lot of things. Oh, look at the history. You know, we've been so mean to you and all those things, right? Now, when they say that, think about it like this. Ask yourself or ask them openly, what do you want from us? Because definitely there's something that they want. And that's how they manage to use the Latinos. That's how they manage to use the Asian. That's why they managed to use Indians. That's why they managed to use the Palestinian Americans and all these other groups, right? So think about it. Just think about it as a black person. As you know, These are presented Jintox Stories, and I'm hoping to see you on my next video. But until then, I hope you're safe. And I want to take this chance to thank all those who are supporting me through my Cash App, through my super thanks. And thank you so much for the support that you're giving me. But until then, I'm hoping to see you on my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salud.